Hey guys, what's up? I'm just here to talk about why this sword got removed from the game. So basically, if you don't follow along too much with the Fortnite pro scene and how this thing goes at the moment, is Fortnite really screwed up with this update. They've come out and they've said, look, we need to do a bit more testing. It clearly was OP, and I think everyone can agree that was right. But the most important point they came out and said was, look, we understand that we didn't update this right, and the content creators and streamers really didn't like this update. It kind of ruined the game for everyone, and overall it was a bad decision by Epic Games. To be honest, Epic Games, compared to most game developers, have not made too many big mistakes. This would probably be up there as one of their most important mistakes they've made so far. So we'll give them a pass in general for this update. Hopefully they take that on board and they develop them first and understand that players are the most important base to this game. So I'm just going to break down Epic Games' point of view as to why this was banned and removed from the game. The first reason you may have noticed this item was removed was it was actually added to the day of the semi-final pro scene and the grand final for $1 million tournament. They have had really low viewership compared to most pro scenes, especially considering they have such a large gamer base, and they actually have a lot of content consumers compared to other games. So they have millions and millions of people who like Fortnite content, but the pro scene is really struggling with the amount of viewers that they should have. If you go watch the videos on YouTube, they have anywhere from 20k to 7k views, and people kind of only really go watch the last game to see where everyone's at or their favourite player. That's a big reason why they actually brought this out before the tournament. In my opinion, that was a terrible idea, but I understand from a business perspective where they've come from. So that was their first idea. They thought they'd spice up the tournament, try and create a better viewer experience. From the second perspective, they thought this would be fun for the casual player. So Fortnite have come out and openly said that they have targeted the casual player for most of their updates. That's where they revolve the game around. And as hardcore players know, I mean, it's a bit frustrating at times because it reduces the skill gap that's what they're aiming for. The problem is when they aim for the casual player that they release something that's so overpowered it just reduces the skill gap completely. And it's pretty crazy to think that a player who's played for less than a week could instantly win a lobby with 10 plus kills using this sword. It doesn't create anything fun for anyone, and there is no way to counter it, which is the most frustrating part of this game. Even if you're a very highly skilled player, you are going to die to this weapon, and there is basically no counterplay, which was their main point for removing it. They didn't actually find a way to actually play against it. The best method we found so far was probably balloons, although you're pretty weak because they can just land under you when you're coming down and just swipe you for 150 health. Also, for the casual player, you really wouldn't enjoy the experience because you're competing against players that are just so much better than you, as well as players using a sword that's ridiculously strong and you barely know how to build, so you've got no chance to killing that thing. Increasing the health pool as well was just an oversight, especially with increasing the 50 regen of health and shield per kill. Really made it a bit too crazy, and there's a lot of things that added up to make it too broken. So we've talked about the casual player and the pro scene. We also need to talk about a marketing perspective. As game developers, they want to introduce the most people to the game they can possible, and they've done a really good job of this. They've promoted content creators unlike any other sport or like esport compared to other games. It has had a huge dramatic increase in how many players we've had. I think we're kind of starting to hit a ceiling. I hope we can get as many players as possible. I really hope I'm wrong. It takes a second to think about. I want as many new players as possible, and the more this game grows, the better it is for me. So I'm 100% behind Epic Games, and maybe they thought this was a great way to show that it's more than just a third-person shooter that you can build a little bit. It creates kind of a MMO feel using a sword. They tried to switch it up, but clearly this hasn't worked because the problem is you can create updates like this, and many games have done it, but it alienates the core base of their fans and doesn't actually bring in enough people to be worth it. So that is why the Infinity Sword was the first item to be vaulted after only 4 days. I don't think the update was good for creators, it wasn't good for casual players, it wasn't good for pro players, and it wasn't good for pro views. So overall, it was a terrible update. We can all agree with this, and hopefully we can move on and have some fun playing Fortnite. So I just want to say good luck to all, hope you get some dubs, and subscribe for more Fortnite content.